Hey guys, what's up? Keith here. Today we're checking out the power seat wiring harness and controls on a 97 Acura CL. The same is going to be very similar on Honda Accords for this around this year, and probably many other cars. What I'm doing here today is showing you what's inside here, before you have to actually replace parts and order expensive wiring harnesses from Honda and Acura. A lot of times just cleaning contacts solves the problem. The same is also true for the window. Here I have a window switch that was going down but not coming up, and I took this out and cleaned the contacts carefully with a wire brush and have not had one single problem since. So this video is about the seat, and let's get to it. Basically just got a couple screwdrivers and a pry bar. If you don't have a pry bar, you can carefully use a screwdriver. Let's get these bolts out. And be careful pulling this out that you don't drop the screws. There's that one, and that one. Next, you want to pop out these wiring harnesses. They should just come out with your fingers. Hopefully you can see that. Let's get a close-up of that first. So there's one there, one there. Just press down a tab and it should pop out. Some of these you need a screwdriver to push the tab back and then pull. It comes out. And next, there are, a little hard to see, there's a screw there and there's another screw right there. These are a little easier to access and come out pretty easy. Okay, now it's being held on from the front by the actual seat controls, and what was happening with this one is that it wasn't going back. The seat was going forward, but it wasn't going back, and so, or at least it was working very intermittently. Let's take a look at these controls on the front so we can get the rest of this out. Get that screw out of there. There we go. Okay, so two of those guys. So now the front here, oh, and that popped off already, so that's good. Normally this is on pretty good like that, and so you're going to use a pry bar or a screwdriver. Pry bar is a little better, and this should just pop right open like that and jump right out. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. This one here, and that one came right out as well. And as you see, the unit fell right out in my hand. And then that takes us to the actual apparatus, which we're going to clean. So this is off the car now, and let's open it up and see what we got. There's a rubber sheath that peels off here, and then on the back is an area to pry into it. But I'm more interested in what's under here. Just carefully pull this off. And like I said, a pry tool is really best at this. doesn't work, you can use a screwdriver. You're less likely to break things using a pry tool. You want to be a little careful under here because there's contacts. Can be a little challenging. Go. Okay. So this only goes on one way, so you don't have to worry too much about having it, you know, remembering which way it goes on. Under here it starts to get a little tricky though. And depending on the car and the application, some are more complicated than others. So you can see under there are the contacts. I have here a wire brush. There should also be a piece of fine sandpaper. These actually lift out. You definitely want to do these one at a time. Actually pretty clean. And keep track of which is which, how it goes in. And on that one, if you can get in there with the sandpaper, great. Sometimes you can't, and you have to just stick a few strands of a wire brush in, depending on the harness. But this one, I think I can get to. So I'm just gonna brush off that contact there. Just a few strokes usually is enough to clean it. So I'm not really worried about the tops of these because nothing contacts the top. But you're not going to hurt anything by... That one looks kind of bad right there. I don't know if you can see that or not. See that dark spot? It was actually worse a second ago before I sanded it right at the tip there. So that could possibly be the one that's giving me the trouble, because that one's pretty bad too. Okay, and that one went in like that. So there's that little contact. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see here. Catch the light just right. Here you can kind of see it right in the corner. See that dark circle? It should be shiny like the rest of these. So let's see if that comes off. And sometimes with corrosion, which is what this is usually, it's very thin and comes right off when you put the sandpaper to it. And you want to use a nice fine grade. I think I'm using 400 right here, 400 or 600 good. Don't use anything like 150 or 90 or anything like that. That's just too coarse for these little thin contacts. So I'm just sanding that just to get the surface corrosion off. Might be hard to see again, but look and see how much better that is. There was a dark spot right there. It almost looked like someone took a marker or a Sharpie, put a dot right there, and it's like 90% better. I can hardly see the dot. And it was really only giving me a problem in one direction, that seat. And the bummer of it is, you know, my wife gets in the car and she's shorter than I am, and she moves the seat forward, and then I can't move the seat back, you know, that's a problem. So that's why I'm fixing this. Okay, so let's take a look at these other ones here really quick. They should all be basically the same. Notice I'm doing one at a time. Also notice that the contact points on this one are going a different way. Each one's going a different way. See how, let's see if I can get a little closer view of this here. See how the round tip is on this side, but the one on the other side, the round tip is over here. So just keep that in mind. That's the way Acura has this thing put together. So again, I'm doing one at a time here. These don't look too bad at all, but since I got the thing open, I might as well kind of clean them off a little bit, right? I'm going to set this one down here in the direction I want it to go, in case I accidentally jar the other one while I'm doing this. Really not too worried about these guys because they're just not that dirty. But again, since I've got them open, why not, right? On the window switch that I was showing you guys earlier, maybe we'll do a video about that at some point. When I took that apart, it was unbelievably dirty. I mean, for it being in a sealed system like this, with a rubber sheath over it and everything, I was kind of blown away by how dirty, and there was all kinds of stuff in there, clumps of dust, and, you know, just stuff sitting right on top of the contacts. And that one wasn't working at all, the up switch of the window, not even intermittently, it just died. And after I cleaned it, it worked like brand new. So, and that one I couldn't get to with sandpaper. I had to use this little wire brush to dig down in there, and I could do that with this if I wanted to, but I think with this one I'll get a little better access with the sandpaper, which is why I'm doing it. So basically what's happening, if you haven't realized it, is when this thing is sitting in here like this and you move the switch, it toggles back and forth, and these little you know, these little guys go like a teeter-totter, on off, and that's what moves your seat. So let's have a look here. These other guys. So just for interest of time here, I'm going to pause the video and clean these other two just to make a little shorter video. It's exactly the same process. Okay, I'm down to my last one here. Just thought I'd save you some time of watching. So I already cleaned this one, but you can see there's that spot again. I think you can see, if I can get the camera to focus. See that little ring right there? That is contact buildup and years of abuse, and that is going to be wiped clean in a second with the sandpaper. And it was on the bottom of this as well. There were some spots, and the sandpaper took most of it off, and it got me some nice, good, clean contact areas. So let's see if we can take care of that spot right there with my little piece of sandpaper, and then I'll bring it back up for a little better view. Okay, so let's look at that piece again. See how nice and clean that spot is now? It had the ring on it of corrosion and buildup. So that's a good looking contact right there. So we are ready to put this sucker back together and get it back on the car. There's some little dirty spots here, but that's just plastic, so it's not really a metal contact, so you don't have to worry as much on that. Great. Make sure that these are moving back and forth before you put the rubber back on, and they are. Will line itself up nicely. This is more of a water seal, so in dust. So like if you spill a soda or something in the car, it doesn't necessarily, you know, when you spill it down your seat, it doesn't necessarily go down into your electronics. On the back of here, there's more contact points back here, but nothing that is really moving or going to corrode because the switches are up here. So I'm not opening this side up. But on some cars and switches, you may have to open different sides of the device until you can see where the actual moving parts are and moving switches are. Okay, so this one's clean, ready to go back in, and we will do that, bolt it in, and see if we got results. Alright, so I'm back at the car with my freshly cleaned switch, and all I did was I just lined up the holes and fed them through. There's only one way it can go in, so it's pretty easy. And then I just bolted down these two brass gold colored screws, one there and one there. And now I'm going to put the clips back in, and we'll see how we did with this. By the way, if you want to, you can see this where I was showing you earlier. You can also clean these contacts with some light sandpaper like I was doing inside the switch. Usually that's not the issue. Usually it's inside because there's moving parts, you know, where the little switch things are moving up and down, and that's often where the corrosion and wear occurs. But if you want to, you can clean these clips here and here. I'm just not going to this time. So I also, when I was working on this, I marked this with black marker because I wanted to emphasize the one that was giving me the most problems, which was that one. So that, you know, just isolated, I knew which one to really focus my cleaning on, because the other ones were working okay, but I did clean them all. So anyway, it's back in, bolted in. I'm now going to hook it up. Those push in kind of hard. And this one, there we go. All right, so that is it. I just need to bolt it back together, but let's actually test and see if this thing worked. This should just press right on easily. And this one here. That's the way it should be. All right. Okay, so I got forward. Let's see if it goes back. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, baby. Awesome. So what was happening is it was very intermittently working. There were some days it wouldn't work at all, and then there were other days where it would like work twice and then stop. And now I've got full motion. So I am really happy about this. Another case where cleaning saves an actual replacing of a part. Alright, so all I have to do now is put these guys back in, and I'm good to go. So that is it. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, please let me know. Be happy to help you out.